Welcome everyone to another episode of Big Brain MMA podcast, episode 32, breaking down the full card LFA 145, Bruno Assis versus Murray. I'm your host BigSteve. We've got Mr. Subliminal MMA back. How are you, mate? You excited to break down this high-level card?
No, but it should be all right. It's fun to look into these. We've been doing pretty well on the regionals recently with the podcast, so hopefully we'll find some bets. But yeah, no, I'm all right.
No, we should find some. Regionals are good because I don't think the bookies have as good of a read on them, so we can exploit. So we'll do a quick recap. Last week between KSW and LFA, I felt like I wasn't really on much because I was just passing on everything, and in the end just ended up being validated a bit. We both passed on Martinek. Apparently he won a 30-27 and he got robbed.
Yeah.
I said Stasiak had some value in the main event. He ended up going to a split, but lost that too. So the only thing I was going to play was the under in the Henrique and Nakun fight. So I just gave that to you because I couldn't play it and you hit it. So can't really claim that, but I get props like last minute. And then the only official play, you hit Rivera, which was sharp. You know, he got a round one sub as a decent underdog, so that's a beautiful hit. Like I said, if I had more tape, if there wasn't that rear naked choke loss to a 3-5 guy on the regionals, I would have hit it myself. But it's just like maybe he's just a can as well, you know. But no, that was a good hit, mate. I actually ended up profiting LFA. I had no plays, and then I got back from training and I saw that Heidemann was almost a pick 'em against Buckley. And like me and you discussed, you know, the athleticism advantages, we had him as a slight favorite. Yeah. So I just had to hit it, and in the end, he just mauled him. Ended up looking like a massive favorite. Those opening odds were probably accurate in the end. So very, very selective. Both of us one play each, and you had a little bit of KSW, and we all profited. So in the end, I got it validated. You know, not playing any of those dogs. Passed on Turner. Ended up getting finished by Jones. There was a lot of dogs I passed on. But that person that gave us that judoka, Olympian judoka, she won by running sub. So
she did, yeah. She came through.
I taped that a little bit, and then I was like, I can't do this. I was just so burnt out from taping LFA and KSW. I watched one of her fights, and I was like, nah, I've had enough.
There comes a point where it's like, how many Mongolian judokans can you watch? You know,
exactly.
You've got to stop at some point.
But yeah, it's a low level card, but hopefully we can, you know, all we need is one good bet to make profit. So we'll try to replicate that today again. Let me just change my banner, and let me just turn my sound off. So like and subscribe if you haven't. Why not? Podcast is growing a bit by bit. So first fight, Dalton Holmes, Jeremy Landowski. There's no odds, so I didn't tape it. What's the point? So we'll move on. Kevin Messer, Santos, Verdinez, and the female fight, Rachel Martinez or Rivera. She's got a different name on YouTube, which is very confusing. I don't think you taped at all. Kevin Messer seems good, but he's a $1.30 favorite, and he's just fighting low-level opponents. And honestly, this Santos Verdinez, I don't think he's that bad. So potentially some value there, but I'm not going to go deep into that. I'm not going to waste my time. And Rachel Martinez should win, but she's again massive favorite. And these people will have like one pro fight. So but from about Cody Lane, Peyton Brezinski, bit of tape on that, and they've got pro fights. Cody very young, training with Josh Barnett. No Josh Barnett.
Rothwell.
Pardon me.
Yeah, Rothwell.
They're all the same to me. And he's fighting Peyton Brezinski, who's a bit older. He's 30 years old. Grindy wrestler. What are your thoughts? I'll let you take away this fight.
So it wasn't a ton of tape on Cody Lynn, but I found his loss. He just didn't look very physical at all. He got a takedown quite quick, but the guy got right back up, and then basically took him down easily. He's got really bad takedown defense. I think he's mainly a jiu-jitsu player. It seems to be. He's got like videos on YouTube of him teaching how to sweep and stuff.
He's a brown belt.
He's a brown belt, yeah. So yeah, I think he's probably mainly a jiu-jitsu guy, but he couldn't get anything off in his loss versus Kevin Fernandez. But he's fought for LFA, so he's he's getting good experience. Probably not the highest level experience, but he's getting experience in there. He's got kind of suspect cardio. He was just giving up takedowns really easily in that fight. But yeah, he does attack with subs, so it depends how good his jiu-jitsu is, but it didn't look very good in that fight. Peyton definitely have a physicality edge. He looks like a college wrestler, or at least he has a wrestling background of some sort. He fought a 4-0 guy in his last fight who was, I think, meant to be okay, and also in LFA. He came out pretty aggressive in the first round, kept going for takedowns. His control's not very good. But as the fight went on, I don't know if it was like an issue with his cardio, but he just kind of started to wane and couldn't hit takedowns. And kind of in the second round, this Cody Davis guy was hitting takedowns on him, taking his back, putting him in rear naked chokes, put him in some like deep chokes as well. And he, that's kind of worrying against the BJJ guy. He was in 2 rear naked chokes in 2 different rounds. So that doesn't really bode well for him. I think people expected Linne to be a big favourite, but he actually opened up, or when I looked at the odds, Peyton was a small favourite. So it was kind of flipped. So yeah, I thought maybe watching Linne's fight, his loss, I thought, oh, this guy's definitely going to be a bet, this Peyton guy. But there's just something about him that I just don't really. He's good for 1 round, but then after that, it's it could get dicey, or he could get caught with something. So just no interest in playing him as a favorite. So yeah, that's my take. Kind of past fight for me.
Yeah, kind of agree with most of the stuff you said. Yeah, Cody very young. I watched one of his amateur fights, and I watched that LFA fight as well, and in both of them it's the same thing. He's just not physical enough. He's just like a skinny, weak jiu-jitsu guy. Yep. He's got decent scrambles, and he's very active. I've seen a couple of people say he should be the favorite, or they're playing him because he's got a bit of reach, but he's going to have more reach on Peyton Brezinski. Brezinski is like a short, stocky wrestler. He's a lot more. I like what I saw from Brezinski, man. He's gritty. He's tough. Just goes for a lot of takedowns, switches stances. I mean, it just seems like the perfect game plan to run through Cody, unless he gets subbed. But I mean, he's been guillotined by Brown, and that's pretty much his only sub loss. And Cody Davis, the guy that you said he lost to just in the last LFA fight, he is very good. So he's 5-1 now. Yeah, his only loss is to that Hawaiian Klimako or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Klimako, who obviously I assume wrestled him because that guy's a beast too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seems like a good fighter. I'm kind of tempted to play Brezinski. I think this could hindsight look like him just dominating.
Mm-hmm.
I think Linne is just young, and he's going to get better and better, and maybe when he grows into his body yet. But I feel like I'm one of those people. When you have that kind of physicality and explosiveness, it's very hard to work on your takedown defense. You're either a good wrestler because you got that body for it, and I think Cody's going to be getting ragdolled for a long time unless he just addresses it or works on a different kind of game, like a guard game or back takes or something. But yeah, at the moment, I mean, I don't have odds again. I mean, I'm in Australia, so that's the same situation as always for me.
You don't have odds yet.
I know what they are on best fight odds, but I can't play anything at the moment.
Access them, yeah.
It's the day before, so I probably will get it soon.
Yeah.
I found all the prelims on one bookie last week. That's when I passed on like Turner and stuff. But honestly, I could play Brezinski at Pick'em. Maybe I'm tempting it a bit. Maybe he gets subbed, but getting a back taken by Cody, Cody Davis, who's a 5-1, very good LFA fighter.
Mm.
I don't know. That's dude's 5-1, and let's see how many. He's like 7-0 in amateurs. So I don't think that's bad at all. So I just, from what I'm seeing on tape, if he stays Pick'em, I'll play him. I'll play Brezinski.
Yeah, it's kind of hanging around Pick'em now. There's a bit of money coming in on Linne.
That's the thing. Yeah, like you said, people said he should be a favorite, and I'm seeing people saying he should be a massive favorite. I don't know what, like, they think this is a setup fight. I'm like, if it's a setup fight, they should probably give him someone that's less of a bad matchup for him than an athletic, explosive wrestler that can do this. They can grind him out for 3 rounds. So strange takes I'm seeing, but oh well. Hopefully they put good money on him and give me a playable line on Brezinski.
Yeah, I think if he was plus money, plus 110 or something, I think that would definitely tempt me, because I think he has definitely more ways to win. I think Cody's probably sub or bust, pretty much. But yeah, we'll see what happens with the line. At the moment, I've got 1.82 on Payton, so like minus 127.
That's
it's all right.
On Bet Online, he's a slight favorite on whatever that means, and then he's a pick'em on Betway. I would even hit the slight favorite, man. I mean, how big of a favorite would he look if he puts on the grind for 3 rounds? I mean,
or even 2 rounds and then wins 2 rounds and then slows down.
Oh, let's move on. I think you got a bit of a take on this one too, Scott. Writz Craig Fruth. Jesus. I'm usually better with the hard European names. A lot of similarities. 2 kill or be killed fighters. Writz either finishes you or gets finished, and Fruth is the same. So no unders here, unfortunately for me. But you got to lean on the money line.
Well, I don't know. I haven't played anything yet. So I looked into Scott. He's a Wisconsin guy. This event's in Wisconsin, so I was just kind of keeping track of who fights out of Wisconsin, just in case. He's like almost 30. Turns 30 next month. 6 foot. Is it? Well, yeah, welterweight. He's fought for LFA before, and he fought for Belly. Fought for Bellator. I think he's a wrestler. Seems to be a wrestler. That Rufati guy. In his second to last fight, he hit some nice takedowns and got the arm triangle in the first round. I couldn't find. Did I find his last fight? I can't remember. If it was on Fight Pass or not.
I wouldn't be.
No. It was the prelims.
It was a prelim, so I wouldn't.
Yeah. But he got a knockout, but that was over a 10-8 guy. I don't know. His striking seems okay. He throws pretty hard. Just kind of like a classic wrestler, like big hooks. He's got a nice body kick, actually. Nice leg kicks. He moves all right on the feet. He does if he can like get on top with after takedowns, he does pass at dominant positions and ground and pounds and stuff. But he does back up a bit, which I don't like. And his defense on the feet is pretty bad. But then I don't know if Fruth is really he's not really the best striker. In Ritz's Bellator fight, he got knocked out by a streaker who actually also knocked out Fruth, I think, or he knocked out someone else on this card. I can't remember. So yeah, I watched that fight. Did you find it? Did you find that one?
I did, thanks to you. I watched it this morning, and you were right. Yeah, Streaker knocked out Fruth as well, but he knocked him out much quicker. In like the first minute. Yeah.
So he did last a lot longer, and I thought before I found that fight, I was like, oh, he's got to have bad cardio because he lost, in the second round, but it didn't look that bad. But he wasn't really doing much. There wasn't like any takedowns or anything. So maybe his cardio isn't great. He's never been to a third round this Writz fella. So yeah, he didn't look great. He did get caught with a pretty nice combo and put out, but that was down to his poor striking defense. But yeah, Fruth, he's all right. He pressures on the feet, so I think he'll back up Writz. His takedown defense doesn't look actually that bad, so I don't know if Writz will have like really good, like that much success with his wrestling. He has good cardio. I know Fruth has good cardio. I've seen him in a few 3-round fights. He's okay at striking. It's not anything to write home about, but he does go for takedowns himself. But I doubt he'll take down Writz. But the only problem is that Craig Fruth has a bad chin, and he's been subbed twice as well. He's been finished in all 5 of his losses. So I think he is. I don't know if he's a quitter, or if he's just got a really bad chin or what, but he is susceptible to being finished. So that's obviously a worry. But at the line, he is, what is he at now? He's plus 175, yeah.
Close to minus 200 for Writz.
For Writz, yeah. And yeah, I think it could be a close fight. Just watching that Writz fight and Bellator, I know Streaker's a bit tricky on the feet. He's got that weird like karate stance, but I think it's closer than the odds suggest. I'm just worried about like a hometown decision for Writz, but I haven't played it yet. But if I was to bet it, I think it's definitely dog or pass for me.
You have to be.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you said you don't see Fruth taking Writz down, and if that's the case, then it's kind of. I have to double check. This was an easy one to take because they were just finishing each other left, right, and center, both these guys, and they were getting finished. But I would have to check Ritz's takedown, because I reckon if Fruth doesn't take him down, I think he's just so much more chinny. So much more chinny. I've seen him hurt multiple times, and his wrestling's okay, but it's low level opponents, and he's getting stuffed a lot. So I was like, oh, okay. And Writz definitely, you can see that he has a bigger one punch power in his hands. You can definitely see he's a southpaw. He's a lot more athletic in and out, whereas most of Fruth's finishes are on the ground, and it's not. His wrestling looks okay, but it's not easy to get some of the low level opponents down. So it's just how long is this going to be on the feet, and then I'm sweating that chin. And one of Fruth's losses was by a buggy choke, and that's the first time I've seen someone tap to a buggy choke, other than Lemminger on Bellator against that NCAP. They just recently got it. But I've seen Pena in one. I've seen Brundage in the deep one. His face was red, and they just don't want to tap because it's embarrassing, and then they tough it out. This guy tapped early, man, to a buggy choke. He tapped like 5 times.
The guy is decent though. The Lucas Clay guy, he's not too bad. He's pretty. He choked out someone else on the card as well.
And Streaker, that knocked both of these guys out, is also very good. He's like 8-3 now, and he's fought good level opponents, and he's just lost to Dakota Bush in decision just recently. I think he's a Taekwondo black belt. So, but yeah, just the fact that he knocked out Fruth, it says one punch in 1 minute. It just confirms that his chin. Yeah, it's just. Yeah, Writz should be the favorite just because he seems to have good wrestling as well, and Fruth needs to get the takedowns. But yeah, I don't think I'll get behind the dog, and I'm definitely not going to get behind the favorite. So it's a pass fight for me. Yeah,
it would be a very sweaty bet, no matter what you bet. I think it'd be maybe less sweaty with Writz, but also he's minus 200. So yeah, probably passing.
Cool.
What do you think about the over/under 1.5?
I would smash it if I had the odds, but I never have odds for LFA.
What, you smashed the under?
Probably.
That's plus 100.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think I get over/unders like literally like an hour before the fight starts. So I'll check.
At least you get them, man. At least you get them.
You not get them?
Not at all. I just have to find money lines. That's why these cards are a bit like, if I don't like a money line, it's just, there's no play for me, so I don't get excited about it. Even KSW. I usually get the props right before the card starts. That's why I was up at midnight waiting for that under 1.5. And then it starts at 1 a.m. I'm like, I'm not going to be up at 1 a.m. just to hit this prop.
Yeah.
So I just told you and you had it. And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
Pickman, or better than Pickman. I was like, oh, you got to hit that, man.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to be minus 200 or something, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it did get to the second round, but no, it did cash.
It did, but it was a war, and I see Nakun had him in tight guillotine, and like he's so chinny. Both of them are so chinny and finish reliant. It's crazy.
That's great bet.
But let's move on. Keegan, Gennrich, Jake Kozorosky. I'll take this one away. Keegan seems quite decent, man. He's got a decent level of competition and a lot of tape, which is a good change from some of the other fighters on this card. Actually, to me, a lot of this card is one fighter in the matchup has a lot of tape, and then his opponent doesn't. So it's kind of frustrating. And then this feels like the same. I got a lot of tape on Keegan, Gennrich, but then his opponent, Jake Kozorosky, I don't have much tape at all. So it's like, I got a good read on one guy, but I don't on the other. And it's, what can I make of that? But honestly, Jake, I watched his fight with Lucas Clay, and I guess he kind of did okay. Lucas Clay was 7-1. He's a beast, LFA prodigy. He might work his way to the UFC or Contender Series at some point. He took him down, but he ended up in the triangle, and then just gassed really bad at the end of the round. And then some really, really old fights from him. But they're so old that I can't even tell what he's good at. They finish early, and then sometimes he goes for takedowns, sometimes he stands, and just I like to watch a few fights to get a read on a fighter. And if he's fighting differently and they're 5 years apart, just nothing. Keegan's tall, long. He's fought Evan Elder, who's in the UFC now. Had a very competitive decision. He says unanimous loss, but man, he did all right in the first 2 rounds. And Elder's really hard to take down. So Keegan's not very physical, and he's got good jiu-jitsu, but if he can't take someone down, he's forced to strike. But he fights long, he switches stances, he works the body. I actually really like how he strikes. He's got great cardio. He fought JT Schulte after that, and he lost a split. Won a split, but I honestly thought he lost that fight. He was getting thrown around. So again, he's just got the typical long, tall physicality. He's easy to throw around, but more physical, stocky guys. But decent armbar. He submitted Devondrick Bankston. What a name that is. Never heard of anyone called Devondrick. It's like they're like, should we call him Devon or should we call him Hendrick? And they're like, you know what? Let's settle on a compromise. Let's call him Devondrick. And he was getting thrown around by that guy, and he just got a beautiful armbar. Beat Austin Belichin in his last LFA. So I think his level of competition is decent. They both got decent level of competition because obviously Jake fought Clay and some decent guys, Josh Jackson, etc., etc. And then Keegan's fought, Elder, who's in the UFC, and some other decent guys. But yeah, I agree with Keegan being the favorite just because, he's got jiu-jitsu, he's got decent striking, and he's definitely got cardio for 3 rounds, even when he's getting thrown around quite a lot. So yeah, he's definitely the favorite, just from what I've seen on the tape as well. He's reliable to fight for your money, mix it up. He's got jiu-jitsu in his back pocket. But yeah, I mean, he's worse than minus 200. I can't play that. It's regional MMA. It's low level. So, you have any better takes on the fight?
Yeah, I agree. I think Keegan should be favoured. I don't like how Keegan reacts to leg kicks. I can't remember what fight it was, but every time, I think it was the Schulte. Was it a Schulte fight?
It was that one and a lot of others. So I agree with you. He just doesn't react well to leg kicks.
He does not react well at all, and he was wearing knee braces in 3 of the fights that I saw. So I don't know if he's got an issue with his knees as a wrestler.
Well, he didn't wear it in his last fight, so maybe he's just jiu-jitsu guy. Maybe he's just precaution.
But he doesn't react well. So I was like, hopefully this Kozorosky guy throws leg kicks, but I didn't really see him throw that many, so that's out the window. I didn't like how he reacts to leg kicks. He can be taken down by more physical guys, like you said, but I don't really see Jake doing that. He's also got bad takedown defense himself, so I think Keegan is more likely to be the one hitting takedowns. And also, Keegan trains out Wisconsin. So, just something to bear in mind. But yeah, I think Jake's probably a better striker, kind of. Keegan throws quite a good amount of volume, variety of kicks, loves kicking. If he's got an issue with his legs, he loves kicking for a guy that's got bad legs. But yeah, as you say, he's got jiu-jitsu and stuff to kind of attack with if he does get taken down. But yeah, I think I favour Keegan. Not really any desire to play either guy. Keegan's minus 200, minus 225. So yeah, another pass for me, unfortunately. But I favour Keegan to win.
Yeah, that is what it is. I mean, you can't force a play here, really.
No,
I think Jake is not as bad as the odds indicate. It's just there's not much to go off personally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the most recent fight is just a really good opponent. So it's like, how would Keegan handle, Clay, for example? Okay, but let's move on to the next fight. Let's address this comment, because this is the fight we're going to talk about now. UFC betting experience, always in here. Thank you, Matt. Miguel Sanson might be the favorite spot on the card. That's interesting. I'll take that one away now. So Tyus White versus Miguel Sanson. Decent fight. I didn't have any tape on Miguel Sanson until I just did a bit more fishing this morning. So both young guys, they seem to have the same strength in terms of wanting to be on the ground. Serviceable striking, both of them. I was impressed by both of them, kind of both well-rounded guys. Sanson, I found his last amateur fight, where he second last amateur fight against Trayvon Kroger, where he got dropped instantly with a check hook as he was coming in, because he was a much taller guy, and then he just got on the double, took him down, flattened him out, and just got a rear naked choke as soon as he got dropped. So good recovery there. I don't know. I don't think it's chinning or anything. I think it was just a stun knockdown. His first professional fight against Braden Pagoa, I had a war. A good striking fight. Pretty competitive in the striking against Pagoa. He's got he stands upright, got like a long stance. Looks like he's comfortable, but yeah, he's competitive. And then when he started to use his wrestling, which wasn't flowing early, he started to put stamps on rounds. I think it was 1-1 going into the third. The other guy started to slow down, and then Sanson kind of took over. He seems to have very good hips. As soon as he gets on the back, he seems to have very good pressure when he flattens people out. So that seems to be his strongest point. Tyus White, he's also wants to grapple. He's got a lot of submissions. 4-0 amateur, few rear naked chokes, arm triangle chokes. I can't remember. I think the Dan Sokolovsky fight, he was actually piecing him up, like ducking and throwing good pull counters, and then just took him down and mauled him on the ground. He fought Tony Laramie, which is TJ Laramie's younger brother, and he struggled to take him down a bit, and Tony was kind of piecing him up on the feet, blooded him up. But he's still got a few takedowns, and Laramie is very good, man. Despite his 5-2 record, he's young. He's going to he'll work his way to the UFC at some point, potentially, if he just keeps improving. And then he just does choke Jeff Jepson, who's 6-3 in LFA again. I personally thought White might be a favorite when taping, just because he seemed very gritty and tough, durable. His wrestling seemed better. I saw him fight I think Dylan Cox on YouTube, who is a credentialed wrestler, and the commentators were saying how surprised they were that he was actually out hustling him, out grappling him, out scrambling him. I was like, this Tyus White, he's got decent striking, decent grappling, he's gritty. Surely he's going to be the favorite against Sanson, who doesn't have much tape, and when he strikes, it's competitive, and sometimes he gets stuffed. I did find Sanson's last fight against Gonzalo Ponce, who is Ponce. I heard the commentator say it. I was really curious how to pronounce that name, because I found it funny. And Ponce is a brown belt, and he dropped him with the 1-2, and then instantly got in a heel hook, got himself caught in a heel hook, and was going to tap. He was grimacing and had his hand up to tap, and then he topped that out, and then he put himself in the triangle, and then topped that out too, and then the round ended, and Ponce had a hurt shoulder, and just doctor called the fight. So I guess the striking looked a bit better there. But yeah, low level fighters. I honestly think White should potentially be the favorite just due to his grittiness and the wrestling as well. Maybe Miguel Sanson might not be able to take him down. And he's taller, he's got longer reach. So yeah, I honestly contemplated Tyus White here as a play. But he is a marginal underdog, so I might have to wait for the odds to open up for me. Okay, so I'm seeing on Betway. I would love the $2.50 line.
Yeah.
on White. If I get something close to that in Australia, I'm definitely going to play that. I just think it's a competitive fight between two young guys that are both very good, and I don't know what Sanson's done to be the favorite. 3-0 and nothing really crazy in terms of other than close fought decisions. So yeah, competitive fight. I'll probably hit the dog, but I need a bit more meat on the bone on White. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a really close fight, and if I can get, at my book currently, I can get White at plus 104, which is just like, that's not really good enough. But as you say, if it moves, or if I get another book that opens up odds at like the plus 140, plus 150 range, I would definitely take White.
Let me ask you a few betting experience. If you're listening, mate, tell us, write in the comments what you like about Sanson. Why is your favorite spot? Hopefully he's listening. Yeah, sorry, mate.
Yeah,
go on.
I see why he likes Sanson. Like he's really tough. As you say, he was so close to tapping with that heel hook. You could see his face, and he had his hand up. But he toughed it out, and then ended the round on top, landing ground and pound. So I think he's very tough. Fighting out Wisconsin, so bear that in mind. But yeah, this White guy, he's interesting. He's 5'9" as a flyweight. Like he's the average height of a lightweight, but he's a flyweight, so he's extremely tall. Big boy, yeah. Both really young. Yeah, both go for takedowns. It's just such a close fight. So I think any dog odds, if either fighter were like a semi-decent dog, I think it would be a good bet. I see why people were playing Sanson, but as a value bet, I agree. I would go for White just because I see it being a really close fight. I don't know if there'll be a finish or anything, so you're kind of banking on Sanson to win a decision in a close fight at minus odds. So yeah, I'll go with White for the value side. So hopefully you can get better than plus 104, which is what I've got at the moment. So we'll see what happens in the next 24 hours.
They have both beaten Dylan Cox by decision. So the guy that I said, the commentator was saying, had a wrestling background, and White was just out grittying him. It's hard to tell who's beating the better guys. I mean, Ponce 4-4. Pagoa's 3-1 now. He had a split decision with Stebbins, who was 2-1. 3-2 now. Yeah, it's all the same to me, really. I don't. It's really unless UFC betting experience knows all these regional fighters quite well, which he might.
Actually, they're both fighting out of Wisconsin.
Just to easily say this guy's fought the high level of competition. Laramie's brother is better than anyone on both these guys' records. So,
White's fought Ernest Walls, and if you take regional stuff, Ernest Walls.
Well,
he was 2-13 at the time when he fought him.
He's fought the worst guy out of the two, but I'm trying to look at the best guy. He's also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 pro fights. So.
And Miguel Sanson, his first amateur fight, was in November 2020. So he's been fighting for less than 2 years.
Sanson's very active. I agree.
Very active, yeah.
Stebbing pretty good amateur. Yeah, I couldn't find that fight, unfortunately. All these good guys, with 2-1, 1-2 pro, they all have good amateurs, more or less. They're just what I found taping LFA is just everything's so low level. Even the amateurs are low level. But let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
Happy for you to keep adding stuff in UFC betting experience. Maybe you can convince me. Or if you can link me that fight at some point, the stadium one would be great, but I doubt it anyway. Oh man, my laptop going off tap. Just in time for you to break down the amazing fight of Olivia Beeskau versus Gennrich Bishop. So Gennrich Bishop is a credentialed Jiu-Jitsu black belt, 3-0. She fought at 2019 ADCC. And Olivia Beeskau is not. So take it away, mate.
Yeah. So I taped Olivia Beeskau. She looks like a grappler as well. Kind of classic female women's MMA grappler, like no striking whatsoever, chin right up in the air. She's got an okay takedown, but I don't know why she would want to take down Bishop in this fight. She switches stances for absolutely no reason, constantly. She's very inexperienced with the striking. Very bad takedown defense. She got swept 4 times versus an 0-6 opponent. It was quite amazing to watch. So she's terrible. Gennrich Bishop looks much better. She doesn't look great, but she does look much better than Beeskau. Strong BJJ. I think someone said she's like a 3rd degree, or one of the commentators said that or something. But she's a black belt.
She's a 3rd degree, yeah.
She's 3rd degree, yeah. Very good on the ground. She fought a good girl who I thought looked pretty good in the fight. What was her name? Luana Santos, a young 22-year-old 3-0 fighter in LFA in her last fight. She was kind of getting pieced up a little bit on the feet, but she managed to hit takedowns in multiple rounds, and once she had her down, was able to control. But it was a split decision, so one of the judges gave it to Santos. But I think striking needs work, but it's definitely better than Olivia's. She shoots takedowns from quite far out. The odds are obviously heavily in the favor of Bishop. She's a -650, and money is coming in on her. She opened -400. She's now -650. What's the under saying? Under 2.5 rounds is +115. So if you're going to hit anything in this fight, it would definitely be the under, in my opinion. This Beeskau girl is not good at all. And I think if she gets on top, Bishop gets on top, which I think she will, I think she probably submits her. So, yeah, Bishop's probably going to win by submission. So if I am lucky enough to get that under 2.5 at plus money, I would definitely be hitting that. That would be my only recommended play on this fight.
Yeah, can't disagree. Joel Armstrong making some good points. Mentioned the under. Beeskau getting her back taken in reverse by these absolute soccer moms. That's it. I thought about, Beeskau, very, very jacked and very athletic lady. She's getting takedowns with ease. I thought maybe, Jenna, how many people is she really subbing in MMA? I watched all her fights. The first fight she won by ground and pound, etc. She got a rear naked choke. She was ground and pounding, and then the lady gave her neck up. But the other two, split decision. It's like, maybe the line is so wide. Maybe Beeskau can, if she gets her own takedowns and she gets her own back takes, maybe it's gonna be a low level competitive scrambling fight. And then I saw the opponents that Beeskau was fighting, and I'm like, oh geez, no, forget about it. Like, if they're doing that to her, if they're getting her back, I thought she was competitive with a good fighter, just getting good grappling exchanges, but nah, it just reminds me of a fight where it might be close, but then she's just going to give up her back a couple of times and lose. So easy pass for me.
Did you see that Lovato fight, the 0-6 girl?
I did. I saw both her fights.
She kept getting swept. It was like,
it was
really twice, like, okay, but 4 times she got swept. It was hilarious.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, maybe I don't know. Does Bishop play off her back a lot? Does anyone? I can't remember now. Does anyone take her down?
I don't think I saw anyone take her down. I don't know why
Maybe
you would want
Olivia.
to take her down.
Olivia is just crazy enough to just take her down, and maybe she can out wrestle her. Who knows? If Bishop plays guard.
Well,
But
Beeskau
she'll
is
probably
fighting out of Wisconsin, so you never know. But I think she's probably going to get submitted. So
probably. Let's not overthink it. Okay, and main event: Bruno Assis versus Jesse Murray. I think there's a big gap in talent here. The battle of the two chinny guys. You got any takes?
Yeah, so take this one first. Obviously, it's the main event. It's annoying that co-main event was cancelled. That was actually probably a quite good fight.
Yeah, I was gonna have a play there potentially.
Yeah. But yeah, main event: Bruno Assis versus Jesse Murray. Assis straight out of American Top Team, so he's getting good training in. He's competent on the feet. I wouldn't say he's a great striker. Got a nice 1-2. Sneaky left high kick. He's got good body lock takedowns, judo throws, BJJ black belt. He's aggressive with subs off his back. He's good on top, passes well, decent cardio. But the big issue with him is his chin. I watched his last 6 fights, and he was dropped in 5 of the 6 fights. And the fight that he didn't get dropped in, he finished in like a minute. So, yeah, he has awful striking defense. I think, was it in UAE Warriors or something? He got knocked out like cold for multiple minutes. So he is chinny. Like, yeah, I can't describe how chinny he is. But then again, Murray is not a guy that I think will threaten with anything like, any big punches or any light punches for that matter. He likes to strike. He's got a decent uppercut. He's reliable to pump out volume. Seems pretty strong. He hit 2 takedowns versus Cunningham, which, by the way, as I told you, is the worst fight I've ever seen in my life. 90% of it was clinching up against the fence. It was so bad. But yeah, he's got bad takedown defense himself. I think Assis can definitely hit takedowns on Murray. He can be held against the fence, as we saw, versus Cunningham, who is also terrible. He allows opponents to pass his guard really easily, which is a bad thing to do against a black belt like Assis. Assis was the last guy to beat Jailton Almeida. So he is pretty good. I couldn't find that fight, but he was the last man to defeat Jailton. So there's that. He didn't get knocked out by Jailton. So
isn't that shocking?
Yeah, I know, it's mad.
He didn't get KO'd by Jailton, of all people.
I don't know. I wish I could find that fight just to see how it happened, but I assume it happened mostly on the ground and he got the better of it, but I don't know. But yeah, he beat him. And yeah, I think Murray's a bit of a quitter. The guys that he beats are so bad, like so low level. Cunningham was on the Contender Series, so there's that. But that was an awful fight, and he could have easily lost that. So yeah, although Assis is chinny, I think this is going to be an easy fight for Assis. Do I want to play him at minus 225? Maybe. Maybe. It's tempting, to be honest, because I think if Murray doesn't knock him out, which he hasn't really shown an ability to do much of, then I think this is going to be an easy, probably, he's probably going to get finished by Assis. So, yeah, I'll go with Assis. Haven't decided if I'm going to bet him, even 1 unit, 44% return on investment, Yeah, there's not much else to say. What do you think?
Oh, well, if you say there's not much else to say, I'll just turn the podcast off then. No, I agree with you, man. like I said, there's a big skill gap here. You know, the level of competition with Assis. I mean, Muniz, Jeffrey, Ozzy Diaz, Paulo Costa on the regionals. Just Almeida. The dude's jiu-jitsu is very high level, and even Muniz was hurting him with his with his punches on Contender Series. But yeah, Murray just plotting, and I think one of the tape that I could find, one of his fights, he did knock someone out nice and early in 9 seconds, and the guy was 15-9, so it wasn't like one of those can records with 3 wins and 30 losses. But he kind of, even when he was throwing against Kaya, he just seemed to throw hard. I mean, he's just a standard light heavyweight. I guess everyone has some sort of power at light heavyweight.
Yeah.
He likes a front kick. He seems to be like a Muay Thai guy. On his regional tape, he's always wearing Muay Thai shorts. But yeah, I think he's chinny too. I found a lot of tape when I was taping him against Kaio. And I mean, anytime he took a step up, Jason Butcher's a decent fighter. He was in Bellator. As soon as the fight ended up on the ground, he just mauled him. He knocked him out with ground and pound punches, but it wasn't like Mount. He was just, every time he transitioned, he gave him like a one hit on the ground. And every single one of those punches was like just throwing Murray's head back really hard. And then he just got knocked out just from like really light ground and pound. And yeah, it just gives me a mixture of quitter and, chinny. And, the Travis Davis fight. Travis Davis is decent. Regional fighter, and he got an injury. Whenever you see a lot of injuries and stuff, there's got a doctor stoppage before, that's what makes you think that he's a quitter. And Kaya Bohaya, I mean, that made me think that Bohaya's actually got decent striking power because he's got some other regional KOs as well. But it was pretty much, one check hook and he was done. So yeah, I mean, I could, like you said, I agree with this. Assis has a sneaky head kick. The thing is, he likes to throw down, so
yeah, that's a problem.
I could potentially see him, hurting Murray as well because it's a battle of the bad chins. And, Murray just spent the whole last fight just clinching up against Cunningham and won a split. He's just going to get hip tossed against Assis. Assis has very good hip tosses in the clinch. And then the only thing I don't like about Assis is that he's just very submission over position. Every time he's on top, he like rolls over for an armbar or a triangle.
Yeah.
But it's probably going to work here, honestly. He's probably going to get an guard sub against Murray. When it was initially opened up, I saw $1.60 and I was like, that's probably literally where I cap it at. And then I thought, you know what, I'll play that. I'll play it because we've got Assis has potential to look much better than $1.60, and I think the chin is baked into that line. Why he's not a bigger favorite, and that was $1.44, and I still don't have the odds, so it's probably going to be even worse by the time I get him. So it's like, I'm kind of pushing my luck here because I've seen. Everyone hurt him. Even Shane O'Shea, that's in Bellator, with the can. I mean, he hurt him bad. Jalen Fuller hurt him. Fuller's decent. And it's just like, Shane O'Shea. Well, I don't know about that. It's risky. But then instantly, he got a hip toss and then triangled Shane O'Shea. So, yeah. I mean, what am I going to do? I'm going to parlay a chinny guy at $1.40. I don't know. I think maybe I will parlay him. Why not? We'll see. If it's minus 200, maybe I will.
How annoyed would you be if you bet him and he gets knocked out, knowing how chinny he is?
Probably not that annoyed because I would have in a parlay, and I would have half a unit on the parlay at plus money because. Keeping that in mind, I wouldn't be losing a unit on this fight. No way. That would annoy me a lot.
Oh, no.
So it would be like I honestly don't get annoyed much with money lines. Like Mike Nioni, for example. The way I cap it is this is how he loses. So when they lose that way, I don't really get disappointed. I've expected it in my mind already. It's the props that annoy me. When you play over unders and some stupid shit happens and the fight just finishes, or Herb Dean doesn't call the fight, and then you're like, why Herb? Like why? Yeah. Why it goes 3 seconds over? Those are the things that annoy me. Money lines, if I think I cap the fight accurately, I usually cap the loss as well. So when my bet loses. But yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. I don't think there's anything to parlay on this card. I was very annoyed about there were so many parlays on LFA last week, and I just didn't play them, and they all just cleaned up.
I know, but they were all like minus 400 though, like the.
Yeah, I mean, one of them was this, I would have passed on the Tividad because he was fighting a decent guy and he ended up going to decision, so he didn't really cover. But another one won in 30 seconds, and I was going to use him as a parlay piece. And
yeah, that wrestler. Yeah,
small derive on KSW. He was never going to lose. He had a decision win, but it was $1.30. You know, just squash matches. But yeah, that's probably a pass fight for me, man. Let's be honest. Nothing to parlay on. This is a lot of competitive, very low level fights. Whereas last week there was, you know, low level squash matches against decent. I was going to say prodigies, but decent talents. But let's do a quick best bets. I know this time around we got nothing. You had Rivera last time, but I'll go first because I potentially will have a bet. So at the moment, I am if Brezinski can hold at Pick'em, that's a play for me. That's 100% a play for me. I saw something on tape. I liked it. You know, I didn't like his Cody Davis performance. You know, I was getting rear naked choked twice, but you know, he didn't get choked. And Davis is much more physical and has better wrestling than someone like Cody. So if Cody doesn't choke him, he's just going to spend a lot of time on the bottom, I feel. So I have to go with what I saw on tape. I had that little good gut feeling about it. And then, Tyus White, I would probably play. Hopefully this podcast doesn't change the odds. I know we thought the Cage Warriors, we gave out our best bets, and the next day you got absolutely steamed. I don't think
but it helped us though. It saved us that fucking, what was it? That guy lost the heel hook.
I can't regret not playing the Italian. At $1.70, I was like, you know what, man, this could be a quick submission. It was only the massive underdog line that made me want to play the guy. It's a good lesson in value, boys. You know, if ever the price stops you from playing it, and then you should always look for value. Otherwise, just pass. So yeah, I'll definitely play Brezinski, and then Tyus White could get my money as well, as long as he's a moderate underdog. I don't see how Sanson covers, honestly. What does he have striking for 3? I think it's a competitive striking battle. What about you? Got anything that's enticing you?
Yeah. So as I said, I think there's probably some value on Fruth, but not really any interest in sweating. Although I wouldn't watch it, but because it'd be, you know, fucking 4 a.m. But yeah, I'm probably just going to pass there. White, as you said, at the moment I've only got like plus 100, so it's a pass for me. But if the odds were to move, they normally move like 6 hours or so before the fight starts, before the event starts. So we'll see what it's saying tomorrow. But I think 150, I would definitely play that for a half unit. I do quite like this under in the women's fight, in the Bishop fight. I think it's very likely that Bishop subs her, and it's under 2.5. It's not under 1.5, and it's plus money as well. So I wouldn't mind a half unit stab on that. And then I don't normally, I try to stay away from parlays, but I feel like Assis is a pretty safe. Not safe, because obviously we've been talking about how he could easily get knocked out, But Murray's so bad, man. Like,
safe is not a word I would use when capping Bruno Assis.
No, exactly. But he's just so bad, this Murray guy. But yeah, I mean, if Assis and like Caio Borralho on UFC is plus 109, so I don't know. I haven't decided, but maybe I'll parlay at Assis if I can find a decent other leg. But yeah, the under in the women's fight, and if the line moves for me, I'll play White as well. So yeah, that's it for me. But nothing played yet.
Cool. It is what it is. It's just one of those cards, man.
Yeah, you can't force anything. You don't,
But yeah, I will be playing Brezinski. So
nice.
Hopefully the line is decent. Don't play him. Anyone listening to this?
Everyone play Linne.
Yeah, play Linne. I mean, on Sherdog, everyone is talking about Linne. They think it's a setup fight, but I just don't see it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, again, why not set him up with someone bad?
Yeah, exactly. Then set him up with an
Instead of his
aggressive
worst
wrestler.
possible matchup.
Yeah,
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Thank you again. Thanks for joining me again, mate.
that's all right.
Not last minute this time, so a lot of time to
Yeah.
prepare. It's annoying because I was like, I'm gonna take this so much better. Because last week, a couple of his prelims I passed on, and then now I take this much harder. There's nothing to play, so oh well.
Yeah. It happens.
Hopefully pay-per-view brings some live bets.
I've got a play for a small play on the one championship. I'm fading Lineker.
Ooh, who's he fighting again?
Fabricio de Andrade.
Oh, I know someone else.
He's a Muay Thai guy.
I know someone else on him as well, a sharp friend.
Lineker might knock him out as he normally does with people, but I think I got plus 220 on Andrade for half a unit, so I thought that was value. So yeah, there you go. There's 1-1 bet.
Oh, very nice. There you go. Free 1FC bet for you guys. No worries. Well, we'll kick it off. Thank you, mate. Thanks for joining me.
No worries.
Like and subscribe to both of us on Twitter. And good luck on the pay-per-view, and we'll see you next week.
See you in a bit.